There we go. Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Fowler from Mount Macedon Realty and welcome to Meet the Macedon Ranges. Tonight we talk to the man about town. He is a long-term resident of the Macedon Ranges, has an illustrious career in radio and an even bigger reputation for pitching in and championing local organisations and charities. He has an AM, which is an Australian honour, and a KSJ, which is a Knight of St John's, which is amazingly impressive, and a resume way too long for me to recite. Welcome, David Mann.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be part of it, and you can see I've got a good head for radio, so I was thinking it was going to be just audio, but it's visual, so I'll do my best.
Yeah, so I shocked David before when he realised it was on camera, but he's looking very dapper, so lucky for you didn't turn up in your singlet.
No, old-fashioned. I'm a suit and tie man. People have very rarely seen me out of a suit and tie, except maybe at, I think, hang rock races on New Year's Day, occasionally open neck shirt. Okay, well, there you go. All right, so we're blessed to have the tie. Now, tell us, how did you come to live in Mount Macedon? Well, it started in sort of the mid-70s. Bruce Matheson's very first hotel was the Macedon Family Hotel, now known as the Railway Hotel in Macedon. And Bruce's brother rang me, he said, "David, do you do discos?" And I said, "Oh, yes, of course I do. I've never done a disco in my life." And so I went down to Myer, bought $30 worth of records and turned up at the Macedon Family Hotel. Bruce Matheson picked me up and drove me all the way from 3AW, which was 382 Latrobe Street, up to Macedon. I had no idea where we were going. I thought he was kidnapping me. I thought, where are you taking me, Bruce? And anyway, so I did the disco there, and we did every Friday night and turned into Friday and Saturday nights. A lot of fun, got to know the area, and then over a period of years met a lovely lady who had a fashion show there with her hair salon, and I was sort of the MC and played the music, and at that stage Annie, who was just a lovely lady, I met. We sort of struck up a friendship, and then well, just before Ash Wednesday, we sort of moved in to our home, or her home, at Wood End. And so I became part of the Macedon Ranges by living at Wood End. And
thank you, Annie.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I was a Box Hill North boy, went to Blackburn High School, and from there we stayed there for many years till '93. And I've got to admit, I don't have a green thumb, but Annie is a gardener, so I found a place with a bigger garden, and we moved to Mount Macedon, and to a place that was basically just green lawn. There was no garden, but now I'm proud to say she's created the garden. So we live garden at Mount Macedon and love it. Gorgeous. Fresh air, and you look up at night and you can see the stars.
Yep, beautiful, beautiful. So now you're a long-term resident. What do you love most about the place?
I think, Lisa, and this is being fairly honest, talking with the heart rather than probably the brain, but I just love getting home. I love the fresh air. I like the people. I like it that there's people of all walks of life who get on. They're there to support each other. We've lived through some pretty tough times when you think about it. With obviously Ash Wednesday was a horrific time. The collapse of Ansett. I had many friends in the aviation industry. The collapse of Compass.
Out here. Yeah.
Went through things, but the community gets together. So the people, the places. As I said tonight, when we finish this, I'll just go home, and I actually just like looking up. You can see the stars. You can't see that in town because I spent a lot of time in town. And the gardens, the tourism aspects. But I think people make a place. I've had the pleasure of working in many parts of the world, and there's a real community feel. And it doesn't matter whether you're one of the biggest corporates, and there are many people here who lead huge organisations, or whether you're just doing something that you're helping the community. Everybody is equal. I learned something in life from Charles Aznavour. There's no such thing as a star. Everybody is good at what they do.
Excellent. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, everyone, all sort of walks of life around here, and we're all conversational and happy, no pretentiousness at all. And amazing. And back to your point, you were in Melbourne all day today, and then come home, short trip home, and you're in this beautiful, beautiful environment.
It's like the blood pressure goes down. I mean, a lot of what I do, I love what I do, but some of it in the media, sometimes people think, it's a bit of a plastic world. Some of it is, But you get home, there's fresh air. We've got the wild animals, as most people have, you know, the wallabies and the kangaroos and the birds, and just simple things in life, looking at the flowers come out now. It's a beautiful time of the year. And I say to Annie, I said, I just love looking at the iceberg roses, or, you know, I'm getting to be quite the silly of the garden, you know. I think I know a little bit now.
Quite the romantic. And Annie, of course, walking around everywhere doing miles and miles and miles.
Every day.
Yep.
Every morning, every night. She walks. She's the fittest person I know.
Absolutely.
I walk up to the top of the drive to get the dustbin sometimes, and that's about it. But no, she loves it, and you know, it's an environment where people stop. They say good day. They often say, "Do you need a lift?" Whatever the case is.
Yeah, if it's raining,
you know, there's somebody around, which is good.
For sure. So, what are some of your favourite restaurants or places of interest in the ranges? There's lots. I know.
I actually like just doing things that are quite simple. You know, I love walking around Gisborne. I love walking around Macedon. I love walking around Wood End. You know, take people to Wood End. We go to Mount Tyrone Vineyard, George and Deirdre, up to the Macedon, Mount Macedon Vineyard. They did an amazing thing during lockdown with some of the food that they made and delivered. Declaration of interest, the Mount Macedon Memorial Cross. I love that area. I've been associated with it a long time, and just to go up there, walk up to the cross, and enjoy the regional park. Hanging Rock, of course, Hanging Rock races. You know, we've taken people there. They go, oh, how good is this? And I think when you extend it a bit further, people say, oh, Macedon, Mount Macedon, but Kyneton is a fabulous place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Riddles Creek.
Farmers markets.
Exactly.
Romsey as well.
Romsey. Oh, I wish they'd open the pub again in Romsey. But anyway, that may happen one day, I hope. But Romsey and just the places around this, and it's ever changing. There are not just the flora and the fauna, but, you know, shops open. It's been a tough time the last 2 years, Lisa, but shops open and there's handicrafts, and it's just walking around and enjoying things. And certainly the Heskett area, you know, drive over around, just be careful of the wildlife on the road. But, yeah, we've got some great things.
Yes, absolutely. Back to your career, very successful career. How did you get started in radio?
I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I did matriculation, for anybody who's old enough to remember that, back in the 70s, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to a vocational guidance counsellor, and they said, David, you've got to do something with the written word, the spoken word, people and music. So I thought, oh, okay. So I ended up asking radio stations whether I could have an interview, and I got on the train from Box Hill North, where I lived, and went into the city, and went to 4 stations, and 3 people saw me, which was amazing. No appointments.
Just knocked on the door?
Knocked on the door, so I'd just like to talk to somebody about radio.
Wet behind the ears?
By the time I got home, I had 2 offers, one from 3XY, which was the station I listened to, which was
that's impressive.
The top 40 station.
Yeah. Did you ring all your friends?
Well, I got off the train, got onto the bus, got home, and my dear mum, who's no longer with us, but she was just such a beautiful woman, she said, you've got 2 calls already, because no mobile phones in 1973, and 3XY and then 3AW. So fortunately, my dad, who's still with us, he said, son, I think 3AW might be good. And it was sort of for the older people. But he said they have sport, they have music, they have talkback had just started. And he said, that's probably good rather than just the top 40 music.
Yeah, that's right, because you get a chance to air your voice a little more.
Yeah, so I was the office boy in 1973, and still there with a role of Mann About Town, you know, doing live crosses, and just very, very proud of the station. A lot's changed in the media, but AW has been a huge part of my life, although now it's probably 5% of what I do on a weekly basis.
Right. Yeah, but probably a lot of the things you do now have emanated from that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. There's a lot of people, you know, if you're walking through the market or whatever, although now it's funny because I do a television show too, as I said, good face for radio, but a cooking show, and now people go, oh, how are you? And I go, oh, fine, thank you. And I look at them and you think, well, they only know you because of this, the voice, but now that you do this show called My Market Kitchen, they go, love your cooking show. And I've got to tell all the people watching, I cannot cook. My nephew is Curtis Stone, who's a real chef.
Oh, is that
I can't even break an egg.
Fascinating.
So,
and you've got a cooking show. Next, you're going to have a gardening show, aren't you? All about iceberg roses.
I love the garden. I love walking around it, and it's sort of, I say to Annie, you'd like to do this or that, we'd like to do a path down here, and I always support her and say, yep, let's do it. But she's the creative person in the garden. I love the garden though. Okay. It's peaceful.
Peaceful, yeah.
And when you're with people like your week, being Mount Macedon Realty, you're a busy person, Lisa. You're with people all the time. Sometimes it's nice just to shut the gate and say, this is it.
And sit on a mower.
Yeah.
Mowing's very peaceful. And no, I don't like that. I like that.
Yeah, I don't have time to mow because I still work 6.5 days a week.
Yeah, true. Who are your idols in the industry?
That's a good question. Perhaps the idol word is an unusual one. I really admire the AW team, the 3AW on-air team is quite remarkable. Their gift of their journalistic ability, their entertainment ability, their ability to go through really tough times. And talkback is not easy. So the AW on-air team, not just sort of the prime time, but Tony Moclair overnight, Darren James on the weekends, but you've got Ross and Russell, and you've got Neil Mitchell, and you've got Diane Dunleavy, and then you've got Tom Elliott and Dennis Walter and all of the people, the sporting people, and the overnighters, Simon Owens. They're a great team, and they have lucked in a marketing sense because of the sadness of COVID. People have been listening to talk radio right across Australia. So I won't say idols, but I think they're great. But I suppose I wasn't somebody who had posters on the bedroom wall of footballers or anything like that. I was lucky that my parents were fantastic mentors. I thank Mum and Dad every minute. But also there was a gentleman that some of your viewers may know, Brigadier Ian Gilmore was one of my mentors. The late Bibb Stillwell, who was a car dealer. I met through doing ads for him, but he became a really good friend. And the late Brigadier Ian Gilmore, the late Bibb Stillwell, and the late Bill Collins, I've lost a trifecta of three mentors. And the advice that Bibb Stillwell gave me, and for any young people watching, he said, David, get on a trust, a board, or a foundation in an honorary sense. It will help you in life. It will help you with your network, and you'll feel good about it. It won't pay the bills, but you'll feel good. So now, if he's looking down, I'm probably on 8, so it's too many. And Bill,
so you certainly took his advice.
And Brigadier Ian Gilmore was the first person to introduce me to the Mount Macedon Cross as a trustee when we had to rebuild it.
Proven psychological research is that it releases cortisone and good feelings for volunteering and helping in community.
I believe
organisations.
I believe that. I see people who are a little lost and they say, what can I contribute? And, I'm not a financial person or a legal person, but my skills are in other areas, marketing and PR and crisis management. But there's always something someone can offer. And you see these people blossom when they get on a foundation. I mean, today, the Caroline Chisholm Education Foundation, we had a board meeting today, and I've nominated a few people to be trustees. And they're really, really ticking all the boxes. It is, and they feel good about it.
Okay, can you name drop some of the celebrities that you've spoken to? Who are some of the big names?
I think I've been privileged, lucky in life. I've emceed for many and interviewed many, but some that come to mind, and probably for the people who are a little more senior, Victor Borger, the funniest man I've ever met in my life. Never, I don't swear, but he never swore and just made people laugh. Dave Allen, very rarely swore, but was a very funny man. I worked with Victor Borger. I emceed his shows, Dave Allen. At home, we had the Kiss Band come home for a barbecue, Paul Stanley, and I thought, I thought they're going to wreck the place. And you know what? They just said, David, we market from condoms to coffins, and we're marketers. And I said, would you like a drink? And they said, no, we'd like to sort of walk around the property, see the animals.
Wow.
Topol, who was the original Fiddler on the Roof, and there's only one Fiddler on the Roof. He came and stayed with us for quite a few times. He wanted to make a film up at the Mount Macedon Memorial Cross.
Oh, what year was that?
Oh, gee, it was going back when Fiddler on the Roof was in Melbourne. I'm not good on the timeline, but back in the 80s.
Yeah, right.
One year
no, I think it'd be earlier than that, late 70s.
Late 70s.
Yeah, because, I did see that.
Yeah. He's amazing. There was never an understudy for Topol. His real name is Hyam, but a wonderful gentleman. But it was funny, we were walking up to the Mount Macedon Cross and he's got a very deep voice and he was going, David, this is very good. I'm enjoying this. He said, I think I would like to make a film here. And there was a lady walking past him because he'd been on the front page of, in those days, The Sun. She looked up and she said, that's Topol? And I went, yes. And she goes, oh, and she sort of couldn't believe it.
So she would remember that to this day, no doubt.
One date I do remember is Tom Jones. I emceed Tom Jones for many years at the Glass House first. People might remember that. That was the old Olympic swimming pool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then Sir Dallas Brooks Hall, then Hamer Hall. And back in 93, we were backstage, Annie and I, with him, and he'd done another show and we always had a chat. A delightful gentleman. But he said, you guys married yet? And I said, no. He said, oh, well, he said, I think I'll be your best man. He said, I'm working in Vegas from the 20th to 30th of May. Come over and get married. And we got married in Las Vegas with Tom Jones.
Oh, that's very impressive. That is hard to beat.
But he's remarkable. But the sadness in life is that he's had everything going for him. His wife wouldn't travel because she didn't like aeroplanes and traveling around the world. And he said to me when he was last in Melbourne, we had a big dinner for one of the banks and I interviewed him. It was a private dinner. And he said, I'm just looking forward to being with the grandchildren now. My wife and I have got this wonderful time in front of us. And about 4 months later, she passed away.
Oh, no.
So we had a bit of an email trail, but he's an amazing person. I worked with Julio Iglesias, Garth Brooks. When Rest Point opened, I used to fly down there on Ansett and MC a lot at Rest Point
at the casino. That was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
That opened in 1974. So I met Peter Allen and Barry Humphries, Al Martino, the Stylistics, Charles Aznavour. But I think there's so many artists, Paul Anka. We had
some very big names.
2 private dinners. One with a table of 10 with Pavarotti, and he enjoyed a glass of wine, and then eventually he started singing. And I grabbed down his hand and I said, this will never happen again. And he started singing. It was amazing. And then the other night we were invited to a place called Arrivederci. I'm sure it still exists in Carlton, and we were not allowed to know what was happening, but the owners of Lazar's had a dinner. And there were 6 seats on this side of the table, 3 seats on that side. And I said to them, who's coming to dinner? And they said, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. and Liza Minnelli. I went, sure. And he said, no surnames and don't dare say you work in the media.
Right.
And it was like a mirage. In walked this lady and she said, my name is Dorothy. I'm Mr. Sinatra's personal assistant. He won't be with you tonight. He looks forward to seeing you tomorrow at the main event. But now, please make welcome Miss Minnelli and Mr. Sammy Davis Jr. And they both walked in. And I stood up, and the first thing Sammy said, he said, David, it's David. I said, yes. He said, please sit down. You're too tall. And he sat down and he said to Annie, you come and sit between us. And Annie sat between Liza Minnelli and Sammy Davis Jr. for an entire dinner with only 9 of us. It was remarkable.
Remarkable.
But I know you said, people, idols or whatever, but the person who I still think made the biggest impression on me was Her Majesty.
Right.
I was asked by the late Ron Walker to MC a private event at the opening of the Commonwealth Games in 2006 at the MCG. And I had no idea what I was doing. They didn't tell me until I got there. And it was a private function for Her Majesty, the Queen, and only governors, Governor-Generals, Prime Ministers were there. And at the end, the Scotland Yard security team said, you'd helped us a lot. We'd like you to meet Her Majesty. And I thought, I'm just the MC, I'm just introducing her to Mr. Whitlam and all the various people who were there. And they said, no, get on the end of the line. And I felt the most important person in the world. She hasn't got a line in the face. She wasn't hoity-toity. It was 2 minutes and 37 seconds she spoke to me.
Incredible.
And I know that because there were no cameras allowed. They took all your mobile phones off you. Security was unbelievably tight. And in the end, they took a still of the security footage and sent it to me from Scotland Yard.
Incredible.
And I've got it, and there I am meeting Her Majesty. So she was brilliant. She's a wonderful lady. Obviously, every day we
so composed and dedicated, isn't she? It's unbelievable.
And
to this day,
there was the Prime Minister, the Honourable John Howard was there. The Lord Mayor was John So. There was Mr. Walker. There were all these dignitaries. I mean, really, really important people. But she made me feel as important, and you don't talk about the conversation, but what she said to me really meant a lot. And I just couldn't believe it that I've been, with the Queen, and whether you're a Republican or a monarchist or whatever, she's an amazing lady.
Yeah, no, this is very true. As you say, regardless of your stance on that sort of thing, you have to admire her tenacity and, the motivation to get up and do what she does every day is absolutely incredible. I'm just going to shout out to a few people who have said hi to us. Good evening, John Formosa. Hello, John. Shout out to Mount Turong Vineyard. I love going there from Maddie. And Maddie also said, I'd love to have Curtis Stone in my family.
He's an amazing man with a beautiful wife, two young boys, and he's quite remarkable what he's done in life, and he's never changed. Every time Manny and I catch up with him, he's been stuck in America, obviously, because of COVID, but whenever we see him, his feet are on the ground. He's huge. He's an absolute media machine, but very proud. And his mum, Lorraine, is equally proud. It's a great credit to him.
Done a wonderful job. Annie has said here from Anne-Marie Hare in Gisborne, oh no, get it right, darling. So I'm not sure what comment that was regarding, but she's corrected me.
It'd be one of the years or something I've got wrong.
She'll sort you out. When
she has a memory that's unbelievable, and I don't.
Well, she'll set you straight.
That's why she get instant feedback.
Yeah. And Carolyn Formosa has said she loves the Macedon Railway Hotel. So yes, that will be great when that opens up again. Annie's Hall, great venue.
Yes, in the Macedon Family Hotel. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
And that hotel has an amazing history. I mean, just people. Johnny O'Keefe performed there,
right?
And I know because it was Bruce Matheson owned it at the time, and he brought some of the great artists up there. And that magnificent brick extension. I mean, thank goodness it was there because during Ash Wednesday,
it was a refuge.
So many people. But yeah, it's sad. I drove past it today. I often drive actually up and then around and just waiting for it to open again. And to all the businesses, anybody who's watching has been in business. I hope that you can manage to get through because it hasn't been easy.
No.
People go, "Oh, regional Victoria's been open." No. Not all the time.
Not all the time, but we need Melbourne out here.
Not the people from the suburbs coming.
That's right. Melissa Carson says she loves hearing your stories, David.
I've been very privileged, and you don't take anything for granted. And there's lots of other people who make a difference. I mean, Charles Aznavour was the #1 singer in the world at the time, and he taught me the best thing. He said I had to interview him at Rest Point, and I said, "Mr. Aznavour, I'm sorry I can't do this. I've never interviewed a star." And I won't do the French accent, but simply he said, "Put the microphone down." He said, "David, the man in the front of the plane who flew us here." And I said, "Oh, the captain?" He goes, "The captain on the plane, he does his job well." I said, "Yes." He said, "The lady who brought my platter of cheese and port to the room, she does her job well." I said, "Yes." He said, "Tonight you will introduce me on stage in the showroom and you will do your job well. But remember, there is no such thing in life as a star." And that's been great because I've seen people in the media industry and they think they're just sitting a bit. Well, they're doing their job and they may have more limelight, but the person who's out there, I thank people all the time, just as a way of doing things to say to people. I know in the last 2 days I thanked people in the supermarket. I thanked a road worker.
I know a little story which I won't tell fully, but I know you thanked people recently with a bunch of flowers.
I did at the newsagent, the
yes,
post office.
Yes, indeed, ladies at the post office.
Yeah, well, they were lovely. I thought, why not?
Yeah.
It's they're such an important part of the community. Things get around.
Things do.
I normally just go to work, come home, go to work, and don't get out and about. But I thank them.
Carolyn Formosa says, Steph is amazing at getting so many great bands to come up to the Macedon Ranges. So thank you, Steph. Bernie Pretlove. Hello, Mr. Mann.
This could be Lisa and the Mann new radio program with all your.
Now, what we need to focus on, you find community service very rewarding, obviously. Tell us about some of the memberships and community positions that you've held over the years.
Well, from Bib Stillwell, one of my first appointments was to a racing board, which I knew very little about in those years, but I've been the chairman of the Royal District Nursing Service, which is that was a voluntary position, wonderful service of home care and wound management, things like that. Then I moved on to the Mount Macedon Memorial Cross trustees. That's when we had to have the cross rebuilt. And thank you to Mr. Grollo, Bruno Grollo, and his men and women who built the cross. Without them, it wouldn't be there. And then I've had the privilege of chairing Victoria Police Blue Ribbon Foundation, which I'm still doing now, Victoria Police Blue Ribbon Day Community Council, which I'm doing. I'm on the Chisholm Institute board. Chisholm is a big TAFE, and we've got 35,000 students. So that's a big business, and there's a lot of responsibilities there. Probably one that's been hard of recent times, Lisa, and I can only be honest, is Entertainment Assist. I'm the chairman of that. And that represents all the entertainers in the entertainment industry in Australia. Not just the singers, the dancers and the actors, but the roadies, the crews, the theatre owners. And it's purely focused on mental health and well-being. And this pandemic started off as a medical emergency, turned into a financial emergency, and now it's a mental health and wellbeing emergency.
Absolutely.
So Entertainment Assist, I'm on Jean Pratt's board for the production company. We stage shows. We haven't had any for 2 years, but that Connected Communities Melbourne, which is part of the Bendigo Bank where we give money, and that's been a really good thing to do. And over the years, I've been on other boards, but it's quite. You feel good. You sit there and you go through all the board papers and the governance and the strategy, but when you get things happening, it's good. And I've worked for both sides of government. I've chaired boards for Premiers Brax, Brumby, Kennett, Napthine, Baillieu, you name it, Andrews, all of them in various areas. And it's been a privilege to not just be a name on a piece of paper, but as a board to get things done. And that's what I like. At the end of the term, saying we made a difference. And
finally seeing some of the policies taking effect on the ground.
And now the Mount Macedon Memorial Cross Committee of Management, being chairman of that, everybody watching this knows, but the world doesn't know that we were trashed up here in the Macedon Ranges. They talk about Dandenongs, which was so sad. People lost their lives there. And out to Trentham and all those places. But all you've got to do is still drive up the Cola Highway now between Gisborne and Kyneton. There are trees down everywhere. And in our park, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. We had to close the cross, and the bill, and I don't mind telling you, is over $100,000 just for the Mount Macedon Memorial Cross area, not the regional park, to get us back to where it's safe for people to go
up there.
For the trees that came down and the ones that the arborist said have to come out or be trimmed. So it's been a big task. It's been frustrating for many people, but
the road over the top was closed for
so long,
months,
and the walk to the cross. People go up there to go to the cross, and so anyway, we've been gifted with some money from the government. Thank you to the state government for helping us out there, and Parks Victoria, who are brilliant. They are the silent heroes in so much of what they do.
All the rangers working up there, clearing constantly,
and just making sure things are there. And we had a spate of graffiti for a while there, but that stopped, and it's now rezoned as the second most important war memorial in the state, and it's for all those who have served and paid the ultimate sacrifice.
So second to Melbourne?
second to Melbourne, to the Shrine of Remembrance.
That's fantastic.
And now it's been reconstituted as honouring those serving today too. So for the men and women of the ADF,
Yep.
well done.
Okay. Robert Birchick, very fascinating gentleman. Compliments.
Oh, thank you, Robert.
Well done, David. Great contribution to the Macedon Ranges. That is very, very true. And on that note, 30 minutes up already.
Oh.
I want to thank you very much for joining us, and just to say that you are a true gift to our community, and people like you contributing is what makes our community such a fantastic place to live in. And actually, here we go, just one final thing. Martin Torrens is saying, thank you, David, for all your help to us through the Rotary Club of Gisborne.
Oh, yes, I've emceed a few times there.
Raise funds for research into multiple sclerosis, and that's from Diana and Martin.
Well, to you, Lisa, it's a big job taking over a very successful business, and I met Lindsay Hill a few times, but to you, it's been difficult, obviously, in COVID times. But for an initiative like this, I only found out about it recently, but I was very honoured to be asked. I don't think I should really be on the list, considering some of the amazing people who live in this area. But I think it's lovely you're connecting. You said, David, it's not about the business, it's about the community.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I admire you for that, because some people would make things very commercial where they'll have tags going through or whatever. But I hope it comes back to you that people realise what you're doing, and that if it brings a smile to someone's face or a bit of comfort, that's nice.
That's right. And that's what it was, little shout out during COVID when people were in lockdown, just to focus on why it's beautiful to live in the ranges, and to highlight some of the talent that we have here and the hard workers and people who are dedicated to society.
Well, I think any young people watching, if you need mentors, there are plenty of them. All you've got to do is ask around, and the people in this community have remarkable strength, remarkable talent. There's some of the most gifted men and women in Australia. But the thing is, most people here, and this is I'm a fairly private person, because people go, we don't see or hear much of him, except if they're listening to the radio. But there's a lot of people here who just are under the radar. And, I'd love to put a list of names of the people I know who I just look at and go, how good are you?
That's right. Yep. Unpretentious, and just feel a sense of duty and commitment.
Absolutely.
To the community. On that lovely note, thank you everyone for joining us, and take care, and bye for now. Thank you again, David.
Thank you, Lisa. I don't think it's too early to say Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh, no. How many weeks?
Oh, who's counting?
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.